I think we are all interested in crime fiction because it's such a perfect format for a story. You've got that question that's set up at the beginning, you've got an investigator, you've got a cast of suspects, and you can use that to explore a lot of things about the society we live in, about human nature, and I think it's just a fascinating way of taking a look at the world. When I came to write the first book, The Killing Season, I knew I wanted a slightly mysterious lead character. That's the first line of the first book, is the first thing you should know about me is my name's not Carter Blake, and that people have told me that's a really great hook for the book, and they wanted to know more about this character. And it was the same for me, I wanted to know more about him. The character himself has evolved from my first conception of him. I had envisioned Blake as much more of a kind of steely killer to begin with, but he's surprised me by being a bit more human, and I've been able to learn more about him as the series progresses, which has kept things interesting for me and hopefully for the reader as well. I always like to make sure that the books take place in a world that's recognisably ours. I think it'd be more difficult to write books that weren't influenced by current events and by what you're reading about in the newspapers. I guess it's sort of the nature of modern day media is it does focus more on crime and murder and the terrible things that can happen to you rather than most people's everyday experience of life, which is thankfully a bit less dramatic. So I think reading about real life crimes and reading books about real life murderers and serial killers, it can't help but influence you both in the mechanics of the way investigations are run and also just sort of thinking about what drives people to commit these crimes, what makes those people different from us. And I think that's a really compelling thing to explore in fiction. If I read about real life stories, it won't be the entire case that is something I'm going to take and use. It will be sort of individual elements of it that jump out to me as that's a really fascinating development that makes this a little bit different from anything else. So it's important for me just to take some things from reality, but you're not writing true crime. You're creating a world, you're creating characters that don't exist in real life, so you have to follow those characters and follow the story the way that it develops. I wonder how much of becoming a writer is formed by your early experiences, and certainly growing up with the knowledge that somebody had been murdered very close to where I lived was something that perhaps I didn't think about every day, but it certainly was something I was aware of, and perhaps that has played into sort of having an interest in crimes like that later on in life. So who knows what of your experiences feeds into what you end up doing. I think in some ways I find it more of a challenge to write the heroes, because you don't have that fascinating personality quirk of the murders to hone in on. You're writing about a normal person, which in some ways you have to work harder to make that dramatic. A person that I worked with was reading my novel and came in the next day saying she couldn't get to sleep at night because she was thinking about how easy it was for me to get into the mindset of a serial killer. So I hope that was a compliment. I don't know. I think I think there might be some sort of crossover in the Venn diagram of crime writers and serial killers, that perhaps we have similar minds in some way, but we obviously exercise that in a more healthy way by getting it down on the page.